I am Nick Shell, a certified Enneagram coach. I love talking about this book, The Honest Enneagram by Sarah Jane Case. It's where so much of my knowledge has come from, aside from being certified. If you want to buy this book off of Amazon, there's a link right there. You can click the link. If you want to take a quiz and get an idea of which Enneagram you might be, there's a link for that. It's free, it takes about 10 minutes. And then also, if you want to become certified like I am, and boy has this improved the quality of my life. If you'd like to become like me and become enlightened, there's a link there. You can find out more about becoming certified in Enneagram. Now, as much as I love this book, I'm actually going to take a break from this book because ultimately I'm so obsessed with these subtypes of Enneagram and understanding that yes, there's 9 Enneagrams out there, but based on the subtype, you may look on the outside and even act on the outside like one number when really secretly inside you're this other one, which is definitely the case for me. And I've talked about that quite openly here on this channel. So I want to talk about helping you understand which Enneagram you are, because believe me, it's not that easy. I wish it was as easy as taking a quiz online. But if you're like me, you've took many Enneagram tests and they probably didn't say the same thing. What's interesting is, and I've said this multiple times here on this channel, I've never actually taken an Enneagram test online and it said that I'm a 6. I'm absolutely the most sixth, that sounds horrible. I'm very 6. I'm the stereotype of what a 6 really is. But I've never taken a test that backed that up. Because it's almost like taking your temperature. How do you feel that day? How do you feel about yourself that day? How do you think other people see you that day when you took the test? It has a lot to do with how your results come out. So while I absolutely believe that the best online test for Enneagram is the one I've got the link for through Cloverleaf, which is where I've got my certification, I really truly feel that's the best one. It does a great job of showing what your wings are and that sort of thing. But ultimately, I think the best, easiest, most consistent way as I've worked with people in finding out which fundamental number they are is what I'm calling the Enneagram wheel. Now, to make it easy, you can look, there's a link there in this particular video. It'll take you to my website. It's called familyfriendlydaddyblog.com. And there's a blog post on there, again, I'll put the link to it, where there's this Enneagram wheel. So if you want to go ahead and like pause the video or check that out right now, go for it. I want you to be able to physically see what I'm talking about. And I've got it pulled up on my phone right here. But ultimately, it is, will that even work if I do that? There you go, kind of see that a little bit. There we go. It looks like that. So I did not create this Enneagram wheel, but I stumbled upon this about a month or so ago, and it really helped me understand how exactly I was a 6. So if you don't know your number, what I would suggest is you look at all of these dozens of phrases and you find the one that you feel best describes your role in society. And these are very specific. One of my favorite ones, crusty eccentric. That's an Enneagram 5. Like think of Ron Swanson on Parks and Rec. That's funny, but he is a crusty eccentric. You know, for me, mine on here is actually community developer. If you know me in real life, that's exactly what I am. I mean, I show up with board games in hand. At my job, I'm always reaching out to people that I don't know as well and trying to bring them into the fold. I'm always teaching people new stuff to get them connected to me and not just vice versa. So that's ultimately what I am. Think about this channel even. I mean, I'm reaching out to random strangers across the world saying, hey, I want to help you understand yourself better. I am building this, I'm developing this community. But there's so many specific ones. And what I found is most people, if they take the time to look at all of these descriptions on this wheel, they tend to find one that actually matches to their actual number. If there's like 3 or 4, of course there are, because you're not just one type. You become a stressed, you become, the relaxed version, you're part of your wing, all of that stuff. You're going to see other ones that relate to you that aren't necessarily right next to each other. But if you had to choose one, which one would you choose? There's a good chance that that's going to be the one that you are. What I would suggest, if you really, without speaking with me directly in person, the best way to find out your Enneagram type, I would say, click the link, look at the wheel, find the one that best describes you, then match it up to the number that you're at. Like for me, mine is between 6 and 7, but it's on the 6 side. I am a 6-wing 7, and that makes a whole lot of sense once you understood that's who I really fundamentally am. Now, what I would suggest after that, then maybe take the Enneagram test there on Cloverleaf and see if it backs up what this said. And of course, also read fine books on Enneagram, like the Honest Enneagram as well, that can help you understand that. Here's what I'm going to say. Figuring out your Enneagram type is probably not easy. We wish it were. I wish it was. About a year ago is when I started diving deep into this whole thing, actually Christmas of 2021. And I was wrong so many times about myself and everybody close to me. And it became a joke. Nick, which Enneagram are you this week? You know, even people at work have said that to me. And I don't mind, being wrong, because ultimately I want to know the best version of truth. So I am a 6. Originally I thought I was a 1. The very first time I thought I was a 1, but the subtype in this book right here backs that up. My version, a social subtype of a 6, looks like a 1 often. So, okay, so I wasn't wrong to think that I was a 1, but it took a lot of research to get there. But again, many times I was like almost angry, just annoyed that I couldn't really figure out which Enneagram I was. Well, now I have. And I think had I started with the wheel, maybe that would have helped, but also probably too, I had a lot of ideas who I thought I was because they were more my alter egos, but not the fundamental me. And I think a lot of Enneagram types are in that same struggle, is that you act like one on the outside, but inside you feel like another one. In this final minute of this video, I'll just kind of explain that a little bit better. Little secret here too. YouTube rewards videos that are 8 minutes. They make them show up in more people's feeds. So speaking of the algorithm, if you've made it this far in the video and you like it, because I guess you do, why don't you just go ahead and like it or subscribe? That way it means more of these videos are going to come to your news feed. Because again, you spent 7 minutes on this. But back to the main topic. So many people privately think things and no one would never know them on the outside, including that person on the inside. So it did take me a while to find the real 6 buried underneath all of these other costumes that I am. I understand now that I really am a person who lives in a lot of blame on myself, not others. So I should say guilt. I live with a lot of guilt. Not sure why. Trying to sort that out. Live with a lot of anxiety, but doing a good job of understanding that too, and focusing on things that I can control and not things I can't, which is probably a very 6 thing. But I didn't know that because I often was my other subtype of an 8, which is the sexual subtype, which says, I'm not afraid of you, I'm gonna face my fears, and I'm gonna pretend that I'm not scared. Well, so that makes sense. Underneath that, I'm a 6. Took me about a year to figure that out. All right, go ahead, check out that wheel. They're right there, it takes you to my blog. And I would love for you to tell me which one you think you are, along with the Enneagram number.